Hello and welcome to BoDaisys Bedroom. I'm your host, BoDaisy, and I'm just here chilling in my room. This episode is going to be how to stay confident for yourself, not for others. Someday I will make an episode about how to be confident for others, but I really wanted this episode to be how to do it for yourself and by yourself. It's good to feel confident about the things you once weren't, and rerouting your brain has some big important steps. We're also going to be reading 2 Reddit stories that really spoke out to me, and some of the comments, made me kind of laugh. And finally, we're going to talk about some video games, because if you do not know, I absolutely love video games. Let's get started, and please make sure to like and subscribe. It helps me out a lot. The first thing that I want to say about the topic of having confidence is have faith in yourself that you are capable of change. The only way to see things positively and have a good mindset is if you truly allow yourself the time that's needed to change. A lot of the times, I feel like people are waiting for a specific time in their life or something to happen in order to do these things, or they think that they're not ready to learn how to do it, so they put it off. But you really need to do it for yourself because no one's going to be able to do it for you. You only have yourself at the end of the day. And the things that we refer to about ourselves and how we talk about our body or our mind is really important. And you want to have a handle on things and be able to look at yourself with happiness and peaceful, positive vibes, because your life is probably so crazy already. Your mind and how you view yourself is really important because it takes off that pressure. You have to do so many other things. The last thing you want to worry about is being negative about yourself. So one of the first things that I tell people often is something that I do personally almost every week. Is every time you say something negative about yourself, say 3 positive things about yourself after. Someone from my high school, one of my old best friends, has told me this, and it has stuck with me for years, for a really long time, to the point where even my boyfriend suggests that I should do this when I forget to. And it helps you kind of ground yourself a little bit, even if you're not stressed out. It just helps you put yourself in a place where you're realizing you're thinking these things, but you can also think positively. It doesn't have to be, oh my gosh, I hate myself. You get to be like, wait, why did I just say that? Wait. You know what? I'm going to say that I feel really smart and I am beautiful or I'm handsome. And lastly, I'm going to say that I'm a strong and athletic person. Those things help you in the smallest ways subconsciously. The more you do that, you're going to stop yourself every single time from saying something negative. Sometimes it feels like these steps are going to be so small and I don't have to do that. I truly think the smallest steps in life, even for situations that aren't about confidence and what we're talking about today, the littlest things can make such a big difference. Your subconscious mind holds on to things and it comes up in different ways in your life without you even realizing it. Now, I am a religious person, but regardless, whatever you believe in, this will apply to everyone. But one thing that helped me is realizing that God made me this way and he created me this way and saw something in me that I don't see in myself right now, but that doesn't mean that it's not there. I try to tell people you just have to find satisfaction in being grateful for who you are, and you don't have to 100% believe that you're perfect, but you have to find what you do enjoy about yourself to slowly get rid of the negative thoughts about what you don't like. If you only focus on the negative parts, of course, you're not going to feel the need to be excited about things about yourself again or feel confident when you walk into a room. You can find new things that you enjoy about yourself 5 years later that you didn't even, I really do like the way my nose looks. I hated my nose this whole time, but now it's beautiful. It makes me unique. My child will have this nose. It's finding things that you once never appreciated. If you just slowly put in your head that you do appreciate those things, even fake it one day you will believe that you like these parts of yourself, and slowly all the other parts, you won't remember these things. And I'm not just talking about looks either. I'm also talking about on the inside, because I have a lot of problems with doubting myself. And I am a very intelligent person, but sometimes I don't think before I speak, or I don't think before I do things. And that hinders my progression, my journey. It tells me, oh, I'm so dumb right now. I can't believe I did that. No, Julie, you're not dumb. That's what I have to tell myself. And I have to say 3 positive things. But I definitely think that having confidence isn't just thinking that you're pretty. Having confidence is also how you carry yourself and how you feel about the decisions that you're making and where you are in your life and the place that you feel in the world and how you contribute. A lot of times if you're just working hard and going and sleeping and eating, work, sleep, eat, work, sleep, eat, you feel like you're not contributing and you don't have a purpose, but you do. You just have to find what God or whatever you believe in created for you and for your path and for your journey. And a lot of people think that your journey is this big, huge thing. It's not. It is the little things. Like I mentioned, your journey can be 10 years long. It never sometimes even has to have an ending. It's just you progressing and realizing that you can love yourself, because all you really have is yourself. Even if you have 6 kids and a big house, you still have your mind. You're still only thinking in your mind. No one's in there for you. No one can make these decisions for you. No one can love you as much as you're going to love yourself. And these things that I just talked about is going to tie into my next topic. Wait, I'm going to get a drink of my water. I lied. It was a White Claw. Anyway, creating peace in other parts and spaces of your life, you will feel more calm and in tune with your spirit and what's in your mind. You're going to open up more opportunities to be less critical of yourself. If you have a chaotic home life, or say with school or work, you might be subconsciously taking out on yourself by being negative on your looks or your mind. I mean, think about it. If you have a really, really bad day, you might go home and feel worse. You might feel more inclined to kind of be more tough on yourself and put more pressure on yourself. If you put more peace and try to get in order on the other things of your life, you might feel more confident in trusting your "I do look good today" statements, or "I look pretty or handsome." Maybe you might say, "I'm smarter than I give myself credit for. I had a bad day, but look what I did with it." You'll start to believe it more and more and listen to yourself and listen to your brain if you truly feel this and you feel peace and calm in other parts of your life. If you have a bad day at work and you come home, you're going to beat yourself up. And it will be totally different night than if you came home from a more calm day at work or more relaxed time. And if you say you have a bad home life, if you try your best to create certain things that help you in your home life, after you come home, you might not be so hard on yourself. You might feel more excited for the new chapters of your life and feel like, I got this, I can do this, like I'm smart, and look what I did. I accomplished all of these things at work, and it was so hard, but I pushed myself through it, and I'm a damn good leader. I'm going to be my number one supporter. You have to be your number one supporter, The next things I want to talk about are a little silly, but they worked for me. And this whole podcast is about me encouraging others about positive things and sharing things about my life and what's worked for me, and hope that someone could apply it in their own life. So maybe it will work for you, maybe it won't, but this is what worked for me, because I used to fake my confidence so much. I used to cry about the way my body looked or the way my face looked or how I appeared to people, because I have a lot of insecurities about how I act around others. I'm very weird, I say things before I speak. Like, there were a lot of things that I was struggling with, but these things help me. So the first thing I want to say is, every time I walked by a mirror, I'd compliment myself and flip my hair. I know it sounds silly, but oh my gosh, if I walk by a mirror, I think Paris Hilton said to do this, or maybe it was Kim Kardashian. I don't know who it was, but it was one of those little girlies. And they said to do this, and I was like 13 and it stuck with me. Every time I walked by a mirror, I would be like, wow, you look good. Even if I was, in my pajamas. And I would flip my hair. Even if I had short freaking hair, a little bob, I would be bobbing it up. And I would be like, you look good. You look good. And I would just tell myself and tell myself and tell myself and fake it till I made it. And now I truly believe that when I look at myself, I'm like, yes. And I also used to say on my vlogging and like my main channel that I'm the prettiest person in the whole world. And obviously I know that there are people prettier than me, but like I can still feel like I am. Like even if I know I'm not, like that doesn't mean the vibes aren't there. You can still have the vibes. I still have the vibes of like, oh my gosh, I'm the prettiest person ever. And, my boyfriend tells me that every day, so obviously it's true. Like, it's just something that, like, it sounds silly, but if you do it, like, watch, you're gonna really, like yourself. You're gonna be like, oh my gosh, yes, I look really good. And every time you see a reflection, you're gonna give yourself a little, like, okay, I really just did that. The last couple things I'm gonna talk about before we wrap up this part of the episode, and it's another silly thing, like I was saying, is I was taking way more pictures, and not being so critical. And I stopped editing the pictures I did take. I don't know if anyone else had this era in high school where you would edit your photos, and I don't know if people like admit that, but I do. I'm like, yeah, I edited this picture. Like, I do not look like this. And I never would edit my body. I mean, a couple of times I probably made my ass bigger a couple times, but I mainly would do my face. And it's like, okay, people have pores. People have wrinkles. Like, those exist. Those are real. I'm a human being, okay? I'm not a freaking doll. I'm a human being. And sometimes I would go crazy. I don't know how people didn't notice. They probably did. They probably were like, wow, I see Julie in person. That's my real name. I just go by BoDaisy on certain platforms, but they'd be like, I see Julie in person and she looks good. Why is she doing this to herself? Like, this is not the person that I saw. And the person that I saw in person honestly looks better than this photo. I had to realize that not everyone's got it as much as they seem. Like, there are other people who are insecure too. So I feel like I had to stop comparing myself to others. And that's another huge tip I'm going to tell you guys is like, don't compare yourselves to others. People live a completely separate life than you and like social media, and no one is more prettier than the next. No one's more smarter than the other. Everyone is on their own wavelength. And I just feel like comparison and editing and social media definitely plays a part in people's confidence, even if they don't know it. They're looking at all these things every single day, every single day. People's For You pages are all different. Everyone is going through different things. So I just feel like don't compare and don't put yourself in a box that's even allowing yourself the room to say these things about others and you. Because that person might not even say that about you. They might think that you're prettier than them, that you're smarter than them, that you're more athletic than them, that you make more money than them. Like, whatever is going on in your life that you don't feel confident about, someone else is probably thinking the same thing. So I that's just something that I definitely tell people. And like with the pictures, like I take more pictures now. I post so much and I really enjoy it because I think that I look the best that I've ever looked, right? Like, we're all gonna be wrinkly and old someday. We're gonna look back and be like, wow, why did I hate myself? And that's the last thing I'm gonna say. Is one thing I tell people, like cousins, sisters, brothers, friends, boyfriends, is that there's going to be a time in your life when you look back and be like, why did I ever allow myself to say this? Because I don't think that way now. I can guarantee if you're listening to this right now and you're going through stuff with confidence and insecurities, there's going to be a time in your life where you do not think this way. Because one, you took the steps and you're going through the journey and you're doing the things that I said and you're taking advice from me or other people and in your lives. You went on that journey. But even if you don't, let me tell you something, you're going to feel this way anyway. You're really going to look back on pictures and be like, wow, this is the best I ever looked and I really didn't like myself. I just think life is it has so many ups and downs, and there's going to be a time where you accept things that you never thought you would. And there's going to be things that you're going to wish that you did. And you only have one life. Anything can happen. So just try to find parts of yourself that you really enjoy, because you don't know what's going to happen. And guaranteed you're going to feel that you should have done this sooner, that you should have went on this path and this journey and this confidence way sooner. So that's all I really have to say about this stuff. Hopefully some of this stuff could help you, because I really just want this podcast to be such a positive experience and just give people the opportunity and the space, the safe space, to think things that maybe they wouldn't think somewhere else. It's a really good environment over here in BoDaisys Bedroom. You're chilling with me and we're really chilling. It feels like I'm literally with you guys. Like, I don't know if you feel that way, but I really feel like I'm like making a difference, even though this is episode 2. Like, I feel happy about this and that I wanted to talk about this and this was the topic, because I just really want to help people and make them smile. Alrighty, let's move on to our next segment of this episode. First, let me crack open my next White Claw. I literally worked an 11-hour shift, and it is currently 5. Wait, what time is it? Is it 5 in the morning? Yep, it is 5:19 in the morning. I went in at 6 o'clock, and now I'm having a White Claw and talking to you guys. But this next part of the segment is going to be reading Reddit stories. I have 2 Reddit stories for you guys, and I'm going to read you the story and what this user talked about, and then I'm going to leave you with my opinions and tell you guys some of the comments that other people had. So let's get started. So this is on the subreddit Am I the Asshole? And if you don't know what Reddit is, it's basically a place and platform where people can share stories or just research information, daily news updates, pop culture, things like that. But a lot of times people will have subreddits, which is like different sections of the website where you talk about specific things. Like if you're posting on that, you're going to be posting about what the theme is. So this theme is, am I the asshole? So these people are asking whether or not they were right in a situation. So this user says, throwaway account because my friends know my usual account. I, 37 female. So she's a girl who's 37. I don't know why I thought I had to clarify that, but anyway. I, 37 female, was at our local community center pool today. So we're going to be warming things up. I know it's the winter, but this Reddit story is about something that happened in the summer, and I thought I would put it in it to just, kind of warm things up on this snowy day. But anyway, I, 37 female, was at our local community center pool today with my 3 children. For this post, I will change their names, but they are Jane, 3 years old, Allison, 5 years old, and Henry, 8 years old. Going to the pool is a regular outing for us. Sometimes we go with my husband, but today he was at work, so I took them by myself. I got the kids ready in the family change room area and entered the pool area. Henry is a great swimmer, so I often let him watch Allison not far away from me in an area of a pool that is slightly over their heads. There are also at least 2 lifeguards watching the pool at all times. Jane prefers to stay in the shallower area of the pool, so I usually stay over there with her. Well, today I was sitting in the shallow area with Jane, as I usually do, while Allison and Henry swam a little further away in the deeper area of the pool. This pool does not have a normal layout. It is meant for kids. So it has a lazy river, which is about 4 feet deep, and a basketball court area, which is about 5 feet deep, and a baby area, which is kind of like a beach. One of the lifeguards yelled at me to be in arm's reach of all my kids. She was very rude, so I told her we swim here all the time, and it's never been a problem. She told me that they were too young to swim in this section alone. I pointed out that it was a kids' pool and they're good swimmers, but she still said she couldn't swim without an adult until they were 12. So I put Jane in a float and went over there with them, even though Jane was not happy about it. Allison and Henry were playing on big floating pool toys about 5 feet away from me, and I was just keeping Jane occupied since she doesn't like being in the deeper water. Well, Allison fell off the floaty she was playing with while I was playing with Jane, and the next thing I know, the lifeguard is blowing her whistle and jumping in after Allison. She handed her to me, looking kind of pissed off. I told her she didn't need to get in and that Allison can swim, plus Henry was watching her. The lifeguard said, well, she wasn't, and then told me that if I wanted to keep swimming, I had to put my children in life jackets. I told her that was ridiculous because my children can swim, plus she is obviously there to save them in case they need help. I left shortly after, but am I the asshole for not wanting to put them in life jackets and expecting the lifeguards to actually do their job? My husband thinks I should have been closer, but my sister agrees with me. So now that was the post, and I'm just going to read you 2 comments that I saw before I share my opinion. So one of the comments says, she's obviously there to save them in case they need help. Jesus fucking Christ. Are you serious? This isn't a kid scraping their knee on a playground. The risk here is drowning. And 5 is way too young to swim apart from a parent, regardless of how well her older brother swims. You want that on him if something did happen? Were you the only people at the pool, or did everyone else's kids deserve less surveillance because a lifeguard now has to spend extra time watching yours? As someone who was once a lifeguard and is now a mom, you're the asshole. You're very much the asshole. It takes seconds for a mishap to become deadly with small kids in the water. Parents like you make the environment less safe for everyone. Another comment says, you're the asshole. The lifeguard was doing her job as lifeguard to keep the swimmers at the facility safe. You are not doing your job as a parent. I'm a lifeguard and you suck. The first comment got 162 upvotes, which is basically like a like, and I think you get like points, if people like your comment or your post. And then the second comment got 67 likes, and I'm going to share my opinion. I honestly kind of agree with them. Now, at first, I didn't really think she was an asshole, because it's like she knows her kid the best, her kid's the best, and if your kid's a good swimmer, your kid's a good swimmer. But after reading it again, the reason why I wanted to post this was because of the ages. At first, I was like, oh, not the asshole, this lifeguard. Like, clearly she said before that they've been doing this all the time and that they go to the pool all the time. So is it really the pool rules, or is it just different lifeguards communicating their rules differently? But then I read it again and I said 8, 5, and 3? No, that's too young. Maybe the 8-year-old, but 5 and 3, anything can happen. It takes just a second, even in your own pool. Not just being a public pool, you also have to think about the other kids involved. Someone could even do like a bullying situation and maybe try to drown them on purpose, or it could be an accident, like you slip and fall. I wouldn't put so much trust in everything's going to be fine because they're good swimmers. In my opinion, that's not really a reliable thought process. Like, and also, it's a reliable thought process isn't, the job's good, the lifeguard's going to do their job. Yes, that is their job. Yes, but how many times have you been at your job and you've made a mistake? Is your children's life really, you're really going to, just depend that they're not having a bad day, or that they got the proper training, or they just don't need the job because they need the money? Like, I think, when I have my kids, I won't approach every situation with, well, we've always done this. Everything's been fine so far. They're great swimmers. I think every time I'm going to be around something where something can be out of their control, you can't control them swimming. So I think I'll pay attention more and be a little bit more understanding of the fact that anything can happen. And I think I'd be more watching them. And also, I thought at first not the asshole, because she said 5 feet apart. So like if someone's 6 feet, I don't really think that their children were really that far from her. But especially reading it again out loud, I kind of realized that, again, anything can happen. It could happen even if you're right next to them. And the fact that the lifeguard was this upset about it made me think, like, maybe the original poster wasn't really 5 feet away. Maybe they were a little farther, like, can we really trust this post? Because the lifeguard seemed like really upset about it. So maybe they were farther than they seemed. But yeah, I just wanted to read that to you guys because I just thought it was interesting how they just relied so much on the lifeguard and, no, everything's going to be fine because we did that before. So I kind of want to hear your guys' opinion. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you would do if this was your kid, if you do have kids. Let me know how you would handle this situation. And I just really want to hear some opinions about it. Summer is an interesting time. Spring and summer, there's a lot going on. So I just want to hear what you guys think and whether you think that they were the asshole or not. We can bring that subreddit, topic onto this channel and kind of give you guys the opportunity to, rate or vote for you're the asshole or not the asshole. Even if you don't have the Reddit app or you don't go on the Reddit forum, you'll still be able to have the platform to speak about your opinion and your perspective on the post. So you can use that in my comment section below and just let me know what you think. The next Reddit story that I'm going to be talking about was posted on the subreddit relationship advice. So just like the last story I talked about was, am I the asshole? This is about, looking for advice on relationships. So let's get started and let's read it. I, 35 male, was caught using AI to write wedding vows, and partner, 34 female, walked out. What to do? That's the title of this post. Then he goes on to say, I, 35 male, recently had a wedding with my partner, 34 female. We've had a stable and happy relationship so far, and I love her more than anything in the world. The problem arose when it came to writing vows. Don't get me wrong, I love many things about my partner, but I couldn't figure out how to put them into tangible vows. I decided to use ChatGPT so I can have something that's well written and expressive to share at the ceremony. The thing about my partner is that she's very confrontational and no nonsense. If something annoys her, she immediately addresses it with no room for backing out. I also know that she's expressed disdain for AI in the past, but I didn't realize how far the hatred could go. I don't know how, but she immediately recognized that the vows were AI. After I had finished, she had this angry look and whispered to me, "Did you use fucking AI to write that?" I was quiet because I couldn't believe she's noticed that, and she was choosing to address it while we were on full display for everyone. She then said that I either speak from the heart or she walks out. I literally couldn't get any words out, and she kept her promise and walked back down the aisle, much to all our friends' and family's confusion. She's been ghosting me the past few days, which is atypical for her and honestly giving me panic attacks. Most people agree that calling off a marriage because of AI vows was an overreaction, and that maybe it was a sign that our relationship would have had issues. But a few female friends have said that they would have done the same. I'm hurt, and honestly, I just needed it to help make the day more special. Is it worth fixing? So now there is an update or like an edit on the post where you can go back and, add more text and type more words and update people on the situation. Now, sometimes on this podcast, I'm going to read the comments first before the updates. And on other episodes, I'm going to read the update before the comments. I just kind of go back and forth and whatever I'm feeling like. And for this exact post, I'm going to read you the update before I read you some comments from some fellow people who have their opinions on this. So, update. Okay, I screwed up. Wait, I kind of want to drink my White Claw a little bit. Give me one. Oh, I need to pour more. It's now like 6 a.m. and I'm just lit. Okay, let's continue. Update/edit. Okay, I screwed up. I didn't check this post for a while because I wanted more points of view, instead of just getting torn to shreds. But I understand why the situation is worse than I thought it was. I've been trying to contact my partner's family to see if I can talk to her again, but apparently she's been staying out of state with her sister. I'm going to tell her when she gets back what I heard here and that I understand. I'm also going to write new vows without AI and bring her favorite flowers and snacks. I still want her to know that I love her and that I do know her. I will post an update when I can. Thank you all, even if some feedback could have been more tad nicely put. Oh, so the comments could have been a tad more nicely put, but your vows couldn't have been a little tad nicely put? So, I don't know if you can tell by my tone of voice, but me and a lot of other commenters are very upset about this. And honestly, if that was me, I would have walked out too. But let's get into some of the comments. Someone said, I'm skeptical. Most people told you that this is an overreaction. Let's see the vows. And someone else replied, most people is just his way of saying GPT told him. Now, if you want to visualize these comments or visualize the post, I will leave links in the description below for you to click on and look at it for yourself. But these comments, honestly, I agree with. Like, most people told you this is no reaction. Yeah, everyone would. I don't know how you feel about this, but writing your vows through Chat GPT, oh my goodness. Someone else said, expressive and AI don't go together. She was able to figure out it was AI because AI doesn't have the same tone as you. You outsourced how much you care about your partner to a machine, and you're upset she didn't like the idea. I want to say this is fake, but one glance at LinkedIn proves how AI rots the brain and makes you incapable of critical thinking. And I agree with this. I think there's definitely a chance that she would have right away known that this was ChatGPT because everyone has a different kind of like flavor, kind of like vibe. Like everyone has their own riz, like everyone has their own way of speaking, and she definitely could tell if he didn't use like a cute nickname or said something about one of their past dates. Oh, I don't know if you can hear the sirens, but I do live in a city. If you hear sirens or meowing in the background, there's just some things going on in my room. I also have turtles and they love to wrestle each other. But anyway, I just think this comment speaks exactly what I was saying. You're outsourcing how much you care about your partner into a machine. And that puts the words right out of my mouth. You're going to let a machine say how you feel about your wife? Even if you aren't talkative, even if you aren't sociable, even if you literally only speak 4 words a day, I think you'd be able to say, I love you. Can't wait to spend the rest of my life with you. You're amazing. You're perfect to me. Like, those are things that AI doesn't need to tell you how to say that. ChatGPT doesn't need to tell you how to feel about your wife that you literally proposed to. Your fiance and the one, this is the one, and you can't even figure out how to say that. So you think that in your head, but you can't say that. Even if you are so shy, you could figure out a way to figure this out. You could play a song. You could write a poem. Even, I'm sure some women wouldn't care if you copied and pasted a poem from someone else. If that poem was about loving and passion and romance and the future and your kids, and if that poem had something, you could probably say that. Your vows don't have to really be from your mind, but it's definitely not from a Chat GPT. Even if you're quoting somebody else, an author, a play, a movie, it's better than a machine that's taking jobs away from people. Like let's be for real. Someone replied to this commenter and they commented themselves and posted, he outsourced expressing how much he cares about his partner to a machine she has already told him she disdains. During an event and in a moment that is entirely about expressing his genuine feelings about her, I agree. I would like to believe it's fake, but I've seen the same thing. And that comment got 693 upvotes, and the first comment that they were replying to got 1,700 upvotes, which is again like a like. So 1,700 people agreed with the first person and 693 people agreed with the second person. And honestly, I agree with them too. Another person left a really long comment, but I'm just gonna read what really spoke out to me. They said, I don't know why so many men, sometimes women too, but it's usually men, have this belief in the back of their heads that they have this overruling right with their female partner, where they can just ignore or dismiss whatever she wants or prefers as long as he thinks he's got a better idea. Like she's a child and he's the parent who knows better. Every day on these advice subs, dudes come in here like, she wanted me to buy this specific type of bread, but this other kind was cheaper, so I bought that instead. Why is she mad? Another example, she didn't want me to touch her puzzle boxes because she was afraid our kid would lose some pieces. But I thought it would be okay, so I gave him a puzzle. Now some pieces are lost. How do I make her see it's just a stupid puzzle? She has this precious memento from her childhood that I think is weird, and I couldn't take it anymore, so I threw it in the garbage. How do I get her to see it was the right thing? And now, with this, we have you. She told me explicitly multiple times she hates AI. But I felt like it wasn't a big deal and that I needed it, so I used it anyway for my wedding vows. How can I show her she's overreacting? You don't. Because she's not overreacting. You disrespected her majorly. You're not the victim here. You knew damn well what her reaction to you using AI would be, and did it anyway because, again, you thought you knew better and that she wouldn't find out anyway. Again, she's like a stupid child and you're her parent replacing her dead goldfish before she gets home from school. She deserves better than to marry a man who thinks of her that way. She didn't want something that sounded perfect. She wanted something that sounded like you. Stuff like this is precisely why people are critical of AI in the first place. It causes people like you to turn a human emotional connection into a chore that can be streamlined and replaced by a machine. That's not normal. It's emotionally and spiritually sick, and you need to self-reflect on how you feel at this point. And this got 2K upvotes. 2,000 people agreed with them, and I'm sure, just like you, I agree with it too. There is no way that ChatGPT can connect the way that you feel about each other on that level. And I do agree with them that, oh, she wanted me to buy this specific type of bread, but this other bread was cheaper, so I thought I bought it. Why is she mad? I feel like a lot of times men tune people out and they dismiss feelings because they feel a certain way. I feel this way, so my girlfriend needs to feel this way too. Maybe if I tell her enough times, she'll just think the way that I do. And that's not realistic. That's not a true relationship. That's not you having your partner's best interest at heart. That's you kind of having a big ego. You think you know what's right and that you know what's fine and what's not a big deal. And she'll just get on the wagon or the boat, the train. She'll just go along with what I'm saying because like I really know like what's fine and I think she won't find it a big deal, and then lo and behold, you're left at the altar. You have such an idea about your fiance and you think you know her so well that you were in front of people and decided and made this decision, and she left you in the altar. So that also kind of comes to my mind that maybe it's not just this. Maybe there's some underlying issue, I think, because I truly don't think that she only walked out because of ChatGPT. Like maybe this was an issue before and that's why he even knows in the first place she doesn't like AI. But I think there is more about this. I think maybe this could be a last straw situation, you know, like she's dealt with so much and now finally like they're getting married and like maybe she can push past all of this and then he's using ChatGPT for their vows. Okay, fuck this, I'm gonna walk out. That's what I'm kind of leaning towards. Definitely leave a comment down below on how you feel about this and let me know if you are shy yourself. Maybe this guy was really shy and didn't even know what to say in the first place. You could feel something, but maybe not be able to speak about this. So let me know if you feel that way and like what maybe you would do. Would you use ChatGPT, or would you maybe phone a friend, talk to a family member, ask them to help you with your vows? What would you personally do? Even my own boyfriend, he's very shy. With me, he talks a lot, but with my family members, with his friends, even sometimes with his own family members, he kind of is a little bit more on the shy side. But I still truly think that during our wedding, he probably would speak up more and talk about like how beautiful I am and like how much like maybe memories. Like I think maybe with these vows, ChatGPT didn't have the memories or specific scenarios that made him realize that he wanted to marry her in the first place. I definitely want to hear you guys' opinion, and this is something that spoke out to me. I wanted to talk about it. I thought that I could bring attention to the fact that this new generation and technology has advanced so much, and it makes people do things that maybe they wouldn't normally do so long ago. Before, ChatGPT was invented, he would have had to make his vows from his heart and from his mind. So I just think this was something that I just definitely wanted to read the comments. A lot of the commenters thought that he was insane, and I just thought some of them were funny, so I wanted to share this. And I definitely am going to be talking about lots of more Reddit related stuff. I want it to be kind of like every other episode. Maybe I read Reddit stories and various episodes, because I just think it's cool to hear an opinion about someone. You don't even know where they are. You don't even know unless they tell you like where they are or how old they are. Like it's truly an opinion that is not a part of it. Like if I were to post about me and my friend, it's an opinion where they're not involved in this situation. It's non-biased. You don't have a notion of what you already feel like. You don't have any idea of what people are going to say, whether they will agree with you or not. And then I also love Reddit for the aspect of me. I'm not posting, but I'm reading. I love the tea. Tell me all of this. I want to hear about people's lives. So I'll link the post down below, and you guys can look at it for yourself and maybe even leave your own comment. But let me know what you think. And now we are going to go into the last part of this episode and talk about some video games. If you guys don't know, I absolutely love video games, and I just kind of want to get into some things to see if maybe you guys have heard of them too, or maybe you will even be influenced to check them out. So let's get started. So the first game that I want to talk about is Animal Crossing. That's what it's called. And the reason I want to talk about it is because there's a new update after 4 years for the Nintendo Switch 2. Although I think you can still play it on Nintendo Switch 1. I'm not sure. You'll have to Google that. I personally don't own a Switch. I wish. Like and subscribe so one day I could get this podcast to be sponsored and then possibly get a Switch, because let me tell you, they're like $500 freaking dollars, and I got bills to pay. I'm in credit card debt. Anyway, Animal Crossing is one of the best games ever. Okay? It is so much fun no matter which version you play. I've played for the Wii, which is a city, and that was so cool. There was a movie theater, there was a shopping area, you'd be taking the bus. In the first version, GameCube, you were taking the train, and it was like a town, village vibe. I'm not sure what the DS has. I never played that one. I never played that version, but I'm getting a little ahead of myself. Let me explain the game in case you guys are interested. So you play as a character in this world, and no matter which version you play, your neighbors and friends are animals, and they're different types of animals. There's kangaroos, there's cows, dogs, cats, frogs, and they are just so funny and cute and interactive, and you can become friends with them, mail them letters, help them out with tasks. In the GameCube version, they have basically everything all the versions has, just very simple. There's a lot you can't do compared to the other ones, but I still think that version is fun with the OG characters because, as you can guess, as the brand and the games progressed, new characters got unlocked and added to the new versions. So sometimes I look for the OG characters in a new version that I play, or if I'm watching a friend play or stream. I love stream. That's another thing too. If you're not really interested in playing video games, but you're interested in any of the games I've talked about, trust me when I tell you they will all be on streaming. So many YouTubers play these games. I'm interested in playing it on stream or on YouTube as well. I'm going to be coming out with BoDaisys Gaming. Now that's going to be clips for my PS4 and Call of Duty content, but I would definitely do Animal Crossing content if I had a Switch. But it's just so expensive. And like I said, I love video games, but I play so many of them, I'm not so hung up on the Switch. There's lots of different things I can do on my PS4 or my computer, so I have lots of fun. But definitely look into Animal Crossing. You help out with this guy's store. His name's Tom Nook, and you help him with his store, and you unlock different versions of your house. You have a mortgage that you pay to him. You earn bells. That's the money currency. It's called bells, and you get that by selling things like fruit or bugs or fish. And you can also sell furniture. It's just so fun. It's just such a cute, cozy game. Something that you could also play with your friends on the Switch because you can invite them to your island. I'm not sure if you can do that on the other ones, but I heard about that, so that's really cool. But it's just so fun. Something that you can just play for hours, and it goes by the real time. So unless you change the time in your settings on anything, GameCube, Wii, Switch, anything, whatever time it is in real life, that's what time it is in your game. So I think that's so cute. You can go along with the holidays. They have Thanksgiving, Christmas. They just kind of generalize the names because not everybody celebrates those things. So it's nice that they do try to incorporate everybody, and it's just such a fun game. I grew up with it. Every summer, at my grandma's camper, I would go down, and we went to this camper for going to the beach and campfire, bonfires, dinners, quality time. There was a playground, but inside the camper was this little TV, and we had a GameCube, and we would play Animal Crossing all the time and have a different memory cards, like the camper memory card, and then the memory card we would use back at our house a couple states away. Like, it was just so nice incorporating that in family time, playing this game with my cousins and my brother and my sister, and we all have our own saved file, and it was just so fun to just be able to lose time. That's one thing that video games does, is like, even if you're so stressed out, just sit down for an hour and you're just lost in this world and wherever you picked. And Animal Crossing is definitely one of the coziest, cutest games ever. I'll probably be talking about it a lot, especially if I do BoDaisys Gaming. And I can get a Switch whenever. Like, I don't need to save up for it or anything. It's just I'm gonna be an adult and choose to do some of the other things that I have to get done, especially with the new year. I gotta pay for certain important things. But hey, maybe when my taxes come around, or when I just decide that it's worth it, and like I'm not splurging on myself, when I decide that it's just like a normal purchase and not something that's like, oh my God, like, should I really get it? Like, once I have it, you guys will be seeing a lot of content on BoDaisys Gaming, and I'm going to be doing Call of Duty content, like I said. There's another game I want to play with my boyfriend because we play Call of Duty together, but I want to play, I think it's something two. It's like, it's two of us, or let me look it up. One second. It Takes Two. That's what it's called. I really want to check out that game with my boyfriend and post some of that content. I think it would be really fun. So I'm really excited about that. It's probably going to be a while before I make that channel because I want to focus on bringing, this channel, like this podcast, to bring out my episodes. And I have a really strict recording and editing schedule I'm going to be following. So let's hope that that goes well before the transition to having 3 channels, because I have my main / vlogging channel. Then I would have my podcast, BoDaisys Bedroom. And then a third one would be, BoDaisy Gaming. So, it would be quite a transition from 2 to 3. So I'm going to, wait it out and, try to take, one week at a time. And then I haven't even posted on my main YouTube channel in a while. So I'm going to have to be posting about that too, because I have more subscribers on that channel than this one. This one I have like 2. So I need to get the word of mouth from that channel onto here. So if you're from that channel, hello. And if you made it this far, oh my gosh, thank you so much for listening. But anyway, let's continue and talk about more video games. So yeah, Animal Crossing, look into that. It's super cozy. Another cozy one is Harvest Moon. So there's 2 versions. Well, there's many versions. There's literally I don't even know how many. But the 2 that I loved is Harvest. This is what it's called, okay? Get ready. Okay? Harvest Moon, A Wonderful Life. And then there's Harvest Moon, Another Wonderful Life. And let me tell you, both games are elite. The only difference is you're a man in one of them and you're a girl in another one. And then some of the things are different. I think some of the characters and, some of the food that they eat and what clothing they have and some of the storylines. But other than that, it's pretty much, wait, I'm getting a little bit cozier. My blanket here on my bed. So I don't know what I was saying, but anyway, these are amazing. Oh, there's not that much differences in the games, but it's a farming game and you can get married and have kids. But at first you own a farm that your father leaves you and you have to start fresh, and you're like, yo, what's going on? I don't know how to farm. And you have to learn how to plant the crops, and I think you start out with a cow and that's it. And you have to save up money to get more animals like chickens, a horse, cows. You have to befriend all the villagers. Again, it's another village type setting, and it's so fun. So nostalgic. That's also on the Switch though, and probably the Wii and the DS. I only ever played these games on the GameCube, but that's another thing that I would definitely post content about and definitely post if, I had a Switch. So I'm definitely going to have to get one soon, but the GameCube game is just so nostalgic and OG, and I still play it to this day. I play it often. It's one of my favorite games. I love the different characters. Someday maybe, if you guys show interest, I could talk more about the characters and storylines. But overall, I just wanted to name those games. But I just love the setting of being a farmer. It's really interesting to me. I don't know why. I think it's because I don't really do those things. I've never had a garden. I can do some stuff outside, I've been, camping and stuff, but I don't own a farm, so don't know how to do that stuff. And it's just so interesting. Honestly, too, it's another cozy game. You can just sit if you're in the living room and you have a fireplace, you can just sit. If you live in an apartment, like maybe you don't have a fireplace, you could just, put a heating pad on you and just cozy up with some slippers and even like snacks and just vibe out and just be a little farmer. It's so cute. And at some point, spoiler alert, you get a horse and you don't have to walk everywhere around the village. You can, go on your horse, and it's just so much more fun and more convenient. And I always like rush to try to get to that, the days that I get a horse. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. Like, I doubt you wanted to hear that. Another thing that it taught me though is about business, because you have to sell things. Same with Animal Crossing, you have to sell things and there's a shop. But with Harvest Moon, it was a little bit more realistic with the having to go get the chicken eggs and then sell them, and then having to go get the milk and sell them and keep track of things. And with Animal Crossing, you could sell more things. You could just sell fruit and like anything really. They're completely two different games and have two different styles, but I learned how to sell and save and budget and bargain and try to get a sale and keep a record, even off of the video game, in my own notebook. That I was so obsessed with these games. Same with my brother. We would write down cheat codes. We would write down sold 5 milk jugs today, sold 4 milk jugs the next day. Okay, what should I do next week to try to get more? Or should I raise my prices? And I'm 11, like I could have just played the game and just farmed. But I really made this like an infrastructure. Like I really overanalyzed things and made this my home. Like this was my home. These were my friends. This was my farm. You're not going to touch my farm. You're not going to mess with my farm. And I'm going to keep track of my farm, and I'm going to have the best farm ever. And then I'm going to restart it when I'm not happy and get a better farm. Make a new journal. With Animal Crossing, the cheat codes that I would use to have the best house ever, I would want the best house ever in Animal Crossing. I would do whatever I could. And that was a cool too. You could get different furniture. You could have different vibes. With Harvest Moon, the second game I was talking about, you can't really switch anything up. I think like you can change some things, but not really. Like your house is designed the way it is based off of what husband you picked. I'm pretty sure. Or wife. I'm like pretty sure. And I think it's like that for everything. But again, sometimes you learn things in video games that aren't true. Someone will tell you something and they'll be like, oh yeah, like blah blah. Sorry, it's like 6 a.m. and we're getting to an hour of recording this episode. But I'll be like, oh, why does this happen in this game? Like, why does this happen? And I don't Google it. I'm not Googling it. I'm verbally asking someone, and they'll just be like, and then you find out 3 years later it's not even true. You're doing it for no reason. I'll come up with more examples in other episodes, because this won't be the last time I talk about video games. That's for sure. But I don't even remember what I was saying. Like, this is this is bad. This is bad. What was I saying? Oh gosh. I did not know what I was saying, so I'm just gonna move on. Both Animal Crossing and Harvest Moon are completely different games, but they kind of have similarities in the sense of like starting from scratch, rags to riches type of game, and having to learn how to fend for yourself, and also making friends along the way that are later basically your family. So they're both similar and similar in the way of being cozy, just sitting back, playing with your siblings. It's just fun. It is one player games, but I used to just sit and watch my brother play, and he would watch me play, and we would talk about our villagers or talk about the farms. I just think they're both such OG nostalgic games. And if you guys, if you guys have heard of them, leave a comment down below. Let me know if you've played this game. Even if you've played it not on the GameCube, you can tell me what console you have. I hope that I post content on BoDaisy Gaming soon, probably in the next couple months, but I'm just super excited to be talking about things like this and be able to choose whatever I want to talk about, because I got to talk about my favorite things, like farming games and cozy games. I just love video games. I talk to my boyfriend about them for hours. I go on and on and on about all my favorite games, and he does too. I watch him play video games every day. He's very interested in certain games. He likes more fighting style games, of course, but also like thinking. All video games require thinking. I gotta wrap this episode up soon. I'm not even making sense, but I just mean like logically thinking. Like, I don't know. I swear all video games need that. I just mean like, I don't know what I mean. Like, I don't know. But he plays a lot of games. Maybe I'll put him on the podcast and have him tell you which ones he likes. But I think I'm gonna wrap this episode up here. Also, if you made it to the end of this episode, I just wanted to say thank you so much for listening. Definitely give this a like and subscribe. This is my first time doing a podcast. I'm definitely used to vlogging and kind of having a different setup. I also do smoke and sometimes I'm lit. So if you hear any cuts in the podcast, and it seems like I stopped recording, it's just because I didn't want you to hear the smoke or the drinking, like me just gulping. You probably heard it a couple times. But with the podcast world, I already know I'm sounding annoying. My voice is probably annoying. You guys don't need to hear every time I puff my vape and stuff. So if you hear any weird stuff, that's what I cut out. I cut out a lot of things. Or if someone comes into the room, I have to, stop recording. So just wanted to explain that. But like I said, if you made it to this part, please like and subscribe. It helps me out so much. And tell your friends. Thank you for listening to me. Hopefully you had fun hanging out in my room with me, and stay tuned for next episode. It seems like I'm going to be posting on Fridays, so stay tuned for that, because I'm going to try to keep a very strict schedule, a very strict one. So I have a routine and something to look forward to and something for you guys to look forward to. So thank you again for listening, and I really appreciate it. I hope you had fun, and I'm going to wrap this up now and stop blabbing. That's another thing. I'm going to be blabbing so much because my recording time is 5 a.m. after work. So I'm very talkative during those hours, especially because my boyfriend's at work during those hours. So I have no one to talk to. Except you guys. I have you guys to talk to, so that's what's good. Anyway, thanks again. I appreciate it. Bye.